in Kent. So joining me now to discuss this a little further is UK immigration lawyer Harjap Singh Bhangal, and from MigrationWatch UK, Mehmet. Welcome, gentlemen.
Morning.
Just your responses first from both of you on this news. Harjap, if I can start with you.
It's very tragic. I mean, it was waiting to happen. We've seen it before. The amount of crossings, there doesn't seem to be a way to stop them. And we're ineffective at stopping the gangs. And despite all the talk yesterday, there was no mention of how to stop the gangs and how we're going to stop people who are making money out of this. I mean, to them, each boat, unfortunately, is a sum of money. And just as we've heard, there's another 4 on the way today that have been intercepted. So it's necessary to stop the gangs and the people who are profiting from misery, essentially.
Thank you. Our viewers have been getting in touch, Mehmet, and Nick has said this is what happens when governments are weak, opportunistic and faff about. It's a succinct assessment. I think a lot of people feel that way.
I mean, it's tragic. One human life, but really, this is something that is always going to happen for so long as the boats keep coming. And why it's imperative that the government does everything possible to make sure that they stop. So for so long as people think that having arrived in this way, they can get to stay, I'm afraid that they will continue to come. It's got to stop.
As a lawyer, Harjap, how do you think this will change the thoughts of people looking to come over here this morning? You know, from now on, we know that there's a lot of feeling that our policy here is not sufficient deterrent. Do stories like this, do tragedies like this feed through to those people wanting to come over and act as a deterrent? Or is the determination such to come here that, as you say, they will still be jumping on boats today? I think
this won't act as a deterrent. It might do a few to a handful of people. However, to the majority, they won't, because they're sold such a story by the people trafficking them. And they're told, actually, you can't get to any visas in the UK. You can't get to any safety in the UK until you land there. And they're the only ones providing the service of doing that, of sending the people over. So the people who want to get to the UK will come regardless and are using these services. We have to cut off the gangs, and these gangs are well organized, they're sophisticated, but they're using the same routes for the last 20 years. They get on at the same place, they send a boat to the same place, they're using the same methods. Earlier on, they used to use lorries, in the 2000s era, and now they're using the boats. And it's quite astounding that the fact that Interpol, the UK Armed Forces, the SAS, UK intelligence, MI5, the French intelligence, and in fact, all of the Europe's intelligence and security forces put together, including the border force, cannot catch these people or stop these people. So, I mean, is there an unwillingness there, or are they just incompetent enough? What is the purpose of our security, our border forces, our armed forces? Surely we can go and pick up a fugitive like Bin Laden from a village in Pakistan. We can go and find Saddam Hussein holed up in his stronghold and basically destabilize an area. We can't catch a handful of gangs who are trafficking people over, who are using the same method. It's like someone using the same bus route for the last 20 years with the same driver, catching it every day. And we're saying, sorry, mate, don't know what you're on about, can't catch them, don't know who does it. And it's quite astounding for that fact. Where are the resources going?
It does seem, doesn't it, that this was a glaring omission from Rishi Sunak's statement yesterday and his 5-point plan, most of which, it seems, we can already do anyway. It seemed like a lot of hot air. Would you like to see him focus more on plans to crack down on the trafficking gangs?
I think that there's plenty of work going on with our agencies, working with the French, working with other countries as well in cracking down on them. But there's only so much you can do if there are literally thousands of them who are engaged in this business. But look, what Rishi Sunak announced yesterday, I think everyone should say, great. We welcome it. it's only a start. Well, I would have liked to have heard a lot of what he said yesterday, 4 years ago, frankly, when this whole boat business started. And Harjap's right, that it has been going on a long time. They were coming in the backs of lorries. They were coming in the backs of lorries when I was an immigration officer 50 years ago. So it's nothing new. What is different, though, are the numbers that are now coming across. And for so long as it proves successful, notwithstanding what's happened today, I'm afraid people will still be prepared to pay money to traffickers to get them over here. And while that is going on, the traffickers won't hold back.
The charity Refugee Action have said that it's hostile government policies which make channel deaths more likely. What do you make of that?
I think that's nonsense. It's also a wicked thing to say, frankly, because other people would argue it's precisely the NGOs and this sort of group saying that sort of thing that actually encourages people to come here. So let's not get into that futile debate.
OK.